Hello, welcome back to session 32, even though it's
32.
the first time.
Welcome back for the first time.
I'm your host, Talg Aron. Hello.
Hello.
Two questions.
Power.
Was the Quake Stomp 2 botches, Namo?
Was it 2 botches or a botch and a neutral?
Can't remember if it was one or the other. I don't remember.
See, I know I failed it miserably with a -2.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're a cat.
I think Kashmir was overly successful, and Alex was the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's what
Okay.
happened.
Green
So
is
it was
good.
2 botches. Got it. Thanks.
Thanks, Sam.
Second question. Before you left Huston and then he died off screen, did he
Again?
pay you guys again in Karifi or not?
Let
Reefy?
me check
Yeah.
my. My last silk
he-
sales are from Naverby.
He did not
Right.
pay us a second time, I don't believe.
No, I don't remember that from Karifi.
Cool.
Yeah, not Grief.
I didn't think so. Thanks, okay. That's all I've got. Good session, everyone.
Sweet.
Okay.
We got some good house cleaning.
Well,
All right. Well, we're gonna be on vacation next week, so we'll try to touch back with
No,
you guys.
wait.
Oh yeah, that's a good point though. Yeah, it's shorter session today, hour and a half, 2 hours, and just check the meter at the bottom. It'll tell you how long the session is.
Wow.
That's pretty funny. And then, yeah, next week we're off.
We're not playing next week. So we're done with.
That, or we're trying to reschedule, but probably off. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's not set in stone just yet.
Kill them
Just
all.
check when the next video is below. Okay, who wants to recap?
I can. I'll just read from my notes. I don't have a whole lot.
Yay!
So we started off last time basically just talking to Vela and Kole. Vela expresses interest in both Alex and Krim. She asks Alex about his druidic powers and decides to look more into the origin of Krim's ritual by heading to the Academy's lab. They do a bit of a test, pull a bone out of his body, as you do. In the process, they find out the ritual is a product of a devil. Presumably, allegedly.
Not necessarily of a devil, but the magic is of hellish origin.
Allegedly, yes. So this incites questions of whether Krim is bound by a contract. Allegedly. They discuss the implications, but ultimately decide to go to Starcatcher to join the SHL. With Kole, they practice by learning about catching and pulling. Wade turned into... What did he turn into?
A toad.
He turned into a toad. That was last session. End of recap.
That's all you need to know.
You know, allegedly is probably a good term to use because people who not want to get sued by are probably devils.
All right. So, in this speedy practice match, which is a lot more impressive than Starcatcher was betting on, judging by her reactions. Turner, we'll see what happens. Kashmir did that crazy jump attack with Cole's help. Alex did this crazy lightning bolt that didn't fully succeed. Kole did some pyrotechnics. Wade did a polymorph that wasn't quite supposed to take full purchase. And then Krim did this very brutal Quake Stomp.
Isn't currently Alex like a little tiny cat?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, then seeing as how the battle has transpired at this point, and knowing that it's time to pull out all the stops, Turner just looks down, his hand just in the air, just looks down and then says, "Sorry, Alex, but you'll become one of them, and that is something I cannot stand for." And then he sends down at the group of them, everyone save for Kashmir must make a dexterity save to not get caught up in this explosive ball of fire.
Not 20.
However, you don't really have to make the save because Turner is also going to use his meta magic to prevent anyone from actually taking harm here. But if you want to, do it for the sake of the performance, by all means.
Get burned for my performance.
But Turner's going to, Turner's going to make it, make it very apparent that he is, where he is throwing this, he is not pulling any punches. He is throwing it dead toward the blast. It is going to hit them all, but they'll still come out unscathed.
Okay.
I'm not going to bother with deck saves. Look at Krim. Look at that boy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, he doesn't know that Turner's about to pull his punch, so let's see let's just see how he reacts in the moment.
Apparently, he probably stumbles a bit because that's an 8.
I guess
that's my roll.
It's up to you if you want to actually roll the deck save, I guess. I don't know.
2 20s and 2 8s?
Cole does this really cool looking but impractical, like, leg after leg backflip situation.
Wade's eyes closed. He was very dramatic. And it's like this, there's like the little motion lines, like when a Pokemon gets hit in the anime.
Turner would actually kind of point it here to where Catcher would just be out of the radius of, but he'd still feel the heat.
Also, it's like the anime, like there's like little scratch marks on him, but no blood.
Yeah, so it's like his fur and his ears will probably just kind of blow back from the force of it. I don't know.
He's leaning against the wall, just kind of enjoying it. He's clapping too.
And then as like it kind of clears, Turner just kind of looks at Starcatcher and then says, I imagine in the actual thing, we might have a little bit of effects here, maybe a fog cloud for some smoke. We'll workshop this.
Way to be fair and drop concentration on polymorph.
What?
Not so good, is it?
What?
What is everyone's like reaction to that? If you want to get into it or not, I don't know.
Cole's not particularly impressed. He knows what you can do. He gives you like a nice one.
Nice.
He gives a little thumbs up.
The lawn is scorched and singed, but not very much. Just little flecks of black and some fires that quickly extinguish themselves. Seems even the field is magical at this magical school. And as the smoke clears, Starcatcher is clapping. We won't need special effects if you can do that. That was amazing. Very well done, all of you, but especially, what an ending. What an ending indeed.
He just kind of clears his throat a little bit as he kind of descends back with the others.
Well,
Go on.
I took some notes, and I'll be bringing these to the writers. It's going to be a whirlwind once we get started, but you all qualify. Some of you might need some practice, tweaking your strength if you don't know it. Particularly, she eyes Alex and Krim. But sometimes you have to, what's the saying, crack an egg if you're going to cook an omelet? Something like that.
I feel quite scrambled.
Does this disturb Krim?
All right, bird eggs.
Any questions?
How'd
you like it?
It was a little exhilarating.
Are the eggs unfertilized?
Turner just kind of gives him a look, and he just shakes his head.
That depends on how much drama you want in your story.
Let's
Waves it off. Yeah, of course.
Noted. I'll keep that in mind.
So, we're sticking with the original teams, yes? Is that the plan? The intention?
Well, that's something we could decide now on the way back. What's your decision? I'm open to... Actually, I haven't mentioned this to her yet. Well, she would, if you proposed your plans, she would say, yeah, I think a 3-on-3 is fine, but Kole is definitely a breakout star, I sense, she says. And so he might have to leave your team depending on crowd reception and what the writers think.
Mother, how could you leave us?
I imagine.
I don't know, man. Just too cool, too fast, too stylish is probably the problem.
Sell this next week, spots to spots.
I wouldn't mind. If we're working on getting you over with the crowd, Cole, I think perhaps with at least all the magic at my disposal, I might be able to at least make it look as good as possible. We haven't really been on opposing sides except in practice.
Shrugs, and he seems amenable. So is Starcatcher.
I do remember a couple people in the party did want to switch though.
Krim speaks up, saying, "Yeah, and what will be the plan for me? Am I going to be Turner's pet, or am I going to be like a talking sidekick thing? Or I don't know how this talking dragon thing's gonna go at this point, really."
Well, have you given up on trying to act as a pet?
Well, I mean,
And I mean
part of
both.
it's just
I mean both in your mind and to the public.
what does that mean? Krim seems ignorant of this.
The proverbial dodgeball's in your hands, Krim. If you can't come up with a great idea, a theme, a persona, a stage person that you can inhabit, you can ask Kole, you can ask his bat friend, you can talk it over. And then we'll see if people like you.
Right. Well, I'll have to lean on people in entertainment, like things that are unique and different, and pretty unique and different as they get sometimes. So I'll have to figure out how to do well with that and things. I can get good at performing. If my mom is so good at it, then I'll stop talking now.
I can believe it. Your pre-round speech is trying to talk with the sign, accidentally actually talking, and then sighing.
Oh, I don't know if I want to give that part away. I like these signs.
Go up to the sign, try to talk to it. Who are you talking to?
So as the match concludes and you head off the field, still talking about, okay, what exactly are the specifics here? Bailey rejoins, saying, hey, that was super cool. There was a bit of an audience, too. Students had gathered to see this supposed new phenomenon that's going to sweep boasts even more than Arcane Dodgeball was looking to be. There's definitely rumors going around. What about the Dodgeball sponsorships? Are we going to get any more people interested in that? Are you going to pull all of our promising sports players? But you leave it all behind because Starcatcher says, yeah, it's almost dinner time and let's get heading back tomorrow since we're all in.
I find it hilarious in a sad way that in this university they're worried about sponsorships instead of scholarships, just like real life.
That may have been partly on me.
Well,
I was being a little real with it, I figured, hey, this is a way to get like funding and publicity to the school.
Now it's not getting paid.
And it was a way for me to explain the reason why Turner had to have his flight nerfed.
Okay. Anything else of note you guys wish to accomplish in Ogma Observatory?
Nothing for me.
Don't think so.
Is Turner's
Nothing off
uniform
the top
still
of
in
my
his old
head.
dorm?
Sure.
You probably wouldn't have brought that with him.
Snap, what were you saying?
Nothing off the top of my head.
Okay.
I guess a long rest before we leave.
That'd be nice.
Darn it.
Oh yeah. I have fucking nothing. Yeah.
Good idea.
I keep getting outsmarted by the players. No, okay.
Trying to kill us.
Get a long rest. And let's not even just do this morning surprise ambush, because you have the resources now. JK. Okay.
Well, that's why you attack us before we rest.
Yeah. It's actually only a moderate rest because the dorm meds are just shit.
Well, no, we're in the guest chamber, so we actually get good ones.
Yeah. Lofty, Kush, Cushy? Is it Kush or Cushy? Kush is slang, isn't it?
That's for marijuana. There actually was like the last thing that to do in the university was just observatory.
Emma, you're muted.
Was just the the resident stuff.
Kush is a different slang.
Can't you say, oh, that bed was so Kush? Or is that like, that makes no sense, it's not marijuana?
I've never in my... You know what? I don't know. I'm not hip.
At least I think.
Who knows?
It's a summer job where they were too cheap to actually get air-conditioned dorms. I got a lot of moderate rest there with box fans.
Okay, so what resident stuff do you seek to do?
Well, Turner figures.
Find them.
Turner figures that this is probably the place where he might be able to learn the most about this, since it was something that was, heavily used during the Outclassed invasion and probably researched a bit. And these are some smart people. So what can they possibly learn about it? Is there perhaps any like materials that they could acquire here? And I figure, would Wade have already had sending prepared?
Yeah, he has prepped.
Did he have any third level spell slots the night before, or was he depleted?
I think I got one from the moderate rest that I didn't use.
If you want to maybe send, was it Dynamo and the other one? I forget her name.
Piper.
Let one of them know, hey, we'll be back in Creepy soon, and we might know a thing or two, and have a thing or two.
Yeah, sounds good. What way you can translate that word for word and set it off on arcane imaginary carrier pigeon.
Okay.
So that we should be back in a few days, if you're near or in the city.
Do you send it to Dynamo, the energetic girl with the pack, who is a Floridan scrubjay, or to Piper, the Javan green magpie?
I guess Piper, if that's alright. Is that cool, Will?
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, just for no reason, it sounds like very like staticky. We'll be there in a few days.
Neither of them like
Mental
really,
imagery.
neither of them like really had like a bigger impact on me than the other one. So yeah, whatevs.
Okay, and they can reply in 25 words, roughly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then she would say, oh, okay, you're Wade. I remember you. Yeah, I'll let Dynamo know, and we'll take to the skies and try and find you.
Pleasure. He would say that if he could, but my one regret is I can't wake that bastard up again. Ugh.
Well, you'll have to put your pettiness aside for one day.
Not very good at that, but...
Okay. You could peruse the library, Turner, find different perspectives, and I'm happy to give a refresher if you'd like, but I don't know if you'd find any other more academic material on resonance that we haven't already covered.
Okay.
Okay.
And like no materials that would be of any sort of use either? In a sciencey manner or whatever?
It's more of an artificial process of chemicals and mechanical and voltages and stuff like that, rather than, oh, let's grab this spell component while we're here. And then, of course, a power source, which they'd mentioned was the exousia that they need.
Okay.
Actually, this will be fast, but you know the tradition. Krim tries to find a book that he can purchase, like a copy of something from the library, but this time, since he knows what this place is all about, he will specifically look for, well, two books. One just to read up while they have the time is stuff on, divine hellish rituals and stuff like that. Stuff that put him on a list. And the other one is that he'll take is methodologies on how to cast spells effectively and things like that. And this will tie into his eventual level 8 feature that I will pick as he finds ways to counter them.
All the books like Yahoo Answers. Are infernal bones bad?
It sounds like a light novel what sounds like a light novel title of "My Bones Are from Hell." So what?
Would you date me if my bones were spell scarred from the hells? Okay.
Oh my god.
Sounds good. I'm not going to say they have a certain mechanical bonus, but I'm sure they'd be helpful in some way when the time comes if you consult them.
Yeah, it'll just be the one for the spellcasting method is just going to be like flavor justification for the level 8 feat. That's all. Combined with his other knowledge.
One sec. There we go. Okay, then you get back on the scrollway, the so-called path leading from here all the way to Karifi, which almost all students take to get here and begin their magical studies that they're so excited for. Rolling for Solomon, 19? Oh god, that'll be tough. There's Sturdier with you, that same guide who, for some reason, was waiting to transport you back, but she's cool, so it's okay. And this end of the path, too, terminates in like this sculpted giant rod that would be, like holding a scroll that you unfurl. And it looks like paper, it's painted, but after a few minutes, dirt overtakes it and erosion from the elements, so it fails to continue looking like a scroll. And people have scratched profanity as well.
Of course.
They're college students, of course they have.
There's empty bottles of who knows what was in that. Labels are pulled off.
Not shoot if I had proficiency with brewer supplies.
Yeah. It's in a potion bottle, but it's really just half vodka, half Powerade.
Oh my god, this place would be the worst. It's the entire place is don't bring drinks in for the same reason you don't bring drinks into the lab.
I wonder if the police forces have detect intoxication and if it's a first level spell or a cantrip.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. And they're just drunkenly counterspelling it.
That's awesome. Okay, you, after a few much more uneventful days than ascending the scrollway, go down the scrollway. There's continued much talk if you want to talk about costumes and colors, themes, etc., which we'll get to in a moment. But there's plenty of time to work that out, and Starcatcher assures you, we'll have our people give you immediate access to this named place and that named place. There's this tailor I really like, and there's a gym there and there to use, and we'll have you in these quarters. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. All you gotta do is perform.
I think I'm spotted at that.
Turner would ask as a favor to Cole/Starcatcher, perhaps his side should represent God, I'm spacing on the name. The swamp silk for their costume materials.
Wow.
Oh.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, Starcatcher's fine with that if it really is, true swamp silk. For Gerdumble, she's heard of that. If it can be worked and prepared in time.
You sure that?
Yeah, how much time do you have
Russell
upon
would appreciate
arrival
that.
at this point?
Well, you will find very little time at all, but perhaps the second iteration of your costumes, because they get damaged, they need to be repaired and replaced. You could have that done. But arriving back in Karifi, you find the craze is only bigger. Starcatcher wastes no time in getting you all set up internally, giving notes to some other people, submitting your names and descriptions, and soon the organizers have you slated to make appearances, sometimes with very little warning. You find yourself without a set schedule. Between the matches, the training opportunities at the supplied very nice gyms with high security, there's publicity appearances, there's occasional meetings. if you had wanted to use this time to work on personal pursuits or even be thinking much about life outside of SHL-saturated Karifi, like your past adventures or Dragon Cult, it is difficult. You got morning events at cafe street corners and business rooftops, like interrupting people's 9-to-5 job. Oh gosh, this thing happened, get hype. And then there's afternoon and evening events interrupting concerts or conjoining with concerts, none of them involving Krim's mom. And ponds and canals, in the air over a daycare, on the train that circulates Karifi.
Oh god, another train battle. I think many people are still traumatized.
We also get attacked by people thinking we're actually having a real fight.
Oh my
That
God.
only happened that one time.
It comes full circle.
Roll me a d6, Bugle.
Oh no.
Boy,
And
it
this-
was fun.
we find out that we're in a time loop. We were actually disguised as the people that we stopped the fight.
I'm Pincushion? I was the devil now.
That does. The turns like that does not even.
Oh, you
Doesn't
rolled
even
high.
make
I was
medical
the devil
sense.
then.
There, that works better.
That's high. In fact, yes, one of your guys' matches is interrupted by this pair of young, intrepid, heroic-faced looking, uplifted people, and then they get yelled and booed and they're confused and soon understand, oh, this is not a real battle.
Wade gets fucked up by their first hit, and that's their tell.
I imagine Wade is like, oh come on, who would do that? Who would be dumb enough to?
And you find that at all of these sites, if you look carefully, you see brouhaha members supervising the hidden technology that is meant to halt accidental, significant damage or strange effects like, I don't know, polymorphs gone wrong or lightning bolts. To prevent lethality, especially. None of the older members that are working on it look happy to be at those performances, though. And your audiences are as varied as the sites. And you'll find word spreads to those interested who didn't see that particular battle. True to your insightful consideration of Starcatcher earlier, she is very busy and she's stoking the fires of this craze, marketing you guys, striving to elevate you, especially Kole, Turner, and Kashmir.
Oh wow.
That's just the price of fame.
Turner just kind of had like a little. Turner kind of had like a little cheat button there with his meta magic.
Yeah. In a few months, this place will be as unoccupied as a costume store in summer.
Well, that depends on if on their creativity, if they're able to keep these stories fresh.
Oh, I'll enjoy your 50 minutes of fame.
Now, questions for you. And before you answer these questions, I'm sure you've already considered this, but consider that SHL right now is something being viewed and considered by thousands of people, even if it's possibly coming from disguised performers. So I would like, with certainty, first the teams that you guys have for this initial framework. It's Kashmir, Kole, Wade versus Alex, Krim, and Turner? Is that right?
Yes.
That sounds fine to me.
Essentially, the Turner and Kole just kind of swapped sides. It seems like,
Okay, jot that down.
or not exactly. Never mind. But yeah.
Do you guys have themes and costumes? Or is one of you, oh, we're all the devils now? Or is you like 3 individuals under one banner? What is your situation?
I got an idea that is to expand on recent events and also what Kashmir first started. He's going to lean into that like devil theme, and he's going to be. I'm torn on the deal breaker or the deal maker.
I will point out, my initial idea was for on Cole's side, since they're trying to prop him up to be the star, then he would more likely want to be like the good guy, and I was gonna have like kind of Turner, be on the dark side. So would that change the side that you want to be on if you're looking to do that?
In that case, I'll be the deal breaker because he
There you
breaks
go.
deals.
And faces.
Yeah.
God.
He's a devil that breaks the deals of other devils.
He's
got
a reformed devil.
Yeah, he's got some cute little horns. He's got like a mask that obscures his identity.
Can I suggest
he's got- and he's I'd imagine his attire is not a whole lot different, but maybe it's more like
Okay.
I don't know, like darker, tighter, that sort of thing.
Fire with like some sulfur deodorant or something.
Yeah.
If he's like trying to like sell some sort of like a reformed devil thing, maybe he has like a little shoddy halo just kind of like attached to his horns or something. I don't know. I don't know if you want to go too silly with it, but
I mean, more silly is good if you ask me. And that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. Go on.
Nope, you're fine. You continue since you're on that side anyway.
I'd say Wade is still sticking with his similar persona of the Bard. It's sort of like a D&D character that stats say they have 18 charisma, but really they have 8. Like this sort of like a feminine bardic hat and such like that, and this kind of guy who's a semi-jobber. Like he talks a lot, but he kind of like he's good at getting beaten up. You can sell it really well.
Vegeta, of course.
He's there to make Cole look good, so Cole has to come step up and save the day.
I'm quite supportive, both literally and figuratively.
I could see a lot of people wanting to beat up the fancy-hatted, talks too much guy.
Doc, I remember you said that Alex would not want to be like seen too much in this, like in his himself.
So, Alex's approach to this, he never shows his true face in the ring. He's always using either Alter Self or Wild Shape, and tries to take on a different appearance in each match.
He's the shifter.
I know if it is he. You're going for the damn. That'd be closer to an evil archetype where you could be like the form stealer or something like that.
He's the enigma.
Is there a theme that's persistent between these change shapes? Are you trying to appear as like a different performer?
Probably depend on. Yeah, that I had not considered. Probably try to find something of, I guess, that seems relevant in some way to the fight at hand. Maybe sometimes appearing as like a feral version of one of the opponents, or somebody that person has lost to before.
Okay.
Ooh.
Can I picture
You're
a
like-
card that fills in? Okay.
What if you're like the T-up2 spy? Like you beat the shit out of someone, that you just take their form?
That was I meant by form stealer. But if you're going for like good, you could be you could have a theme of like you take on the appearance of the opponent's evil deeds, so to speak.
Well, keep in mind, Alex is on our team, so he's going to be
Yeah, I was
one of the heels.
pretty sure.
You're
it's
gonna be one of the
you're
evil
gonna be-
people?
Yeah, he's on our side.
Actually, I could even use the Solomon Idol with this to give me a more sinister vibe.
Wait, hang on.
These transformations.
I got the names confused.
There,
It's Alex Turner and Krim.
Yes.
Yes.
If that's the case, you can definitely be like the form stealer or something like that with your transformations. Like a past opponent or stuff like that.
Okay.
But as
Think
for
I'll-
the centralized theme,
Wait, I need to just think regarding Alex's thing before we move on. So if your goal is anonymity, to be someone who's not the same person, not like a hidden metagame for the audience to be like, hey, I think I know that. That's the same person. Whoa. then someone would have to approach Starcatcher because try to persuade her, like, why this is going to mess up the storyline. Want to have familiar faces? What's your angle in that regard?
Well, if we are part of a team, then yeah, he can just be like that mysterious one where you don't know what you're going to get on this team, but he's part of like these three scary, mysterious participants. He's like the secret weapon or something like that. The wild card. All sorts of ways you can play with it.
Although it's not always him, right? It's just another performer who's the third person each time, right?
Oh, is that what you're going for, Doc? Like he's not the same person?
Sure.
Well, I mean, if you mean sure, then it's not committed. It's just like up in the air, right?
Yeah, it's. I suppose he wouldn't have the resources to maintain these altered forms with all of the public appearances that we have to make. So it's probably going to have to be clear that it is him.
Okay.
But exactly what appearance he's going to take in every match, and to some extent what abilities he's going to use, can be a bit of a mystery.
And perhaps for Alex's sake, that perhaps his true form is unknown.
Yeah. Right.
You have like some sort of like clothing that stays the same for every transformation, so they know it's you. But...
A hat.
Oh, yeah. Or like you're like Ditto, where you're just like a different color palette.
Okay. So different every time always seems to match the storyline, the other opponent, whatever kind of is the flavor of the month. Got it.
Would you say that one contacts exist in this world, and two, would they be able to have like colors? Kind of think of like what I was doing with Petrichor.
I don't think contact lenses would be certainly not a common thing, but there's got to be a simple cantrip that changes your eye color briefly.
Okay.
I swear that's actually a cantrip.
I think that's thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
I'll see if that's one that Turner can learn, but although it doesn't last very long, but
yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna kind of like have Turner, be a bit more shadowy, kind of like a, obviously not in armor, but kind of think of like the Coupinator from Thousand Year Door, where he's just kind of like the shrouded figure with like the red eyes that are basically all you can see of his face. Maybe kind of like a little Sithy in the robes or something in that regard, but just is going for like a little Darkwing type character. But I think that name is already trademarked. But
does he look kind of like the shopkeeper from The Messenger?
I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah.
I'll look at
same kind of thing.
The Messenger shopkeeper. I guess kind of similar to that, but you'd still see his beak.
So what's his name? Murder of Crows, Darkwing.
I think Darkwing is also trademarked, but
Darkwing Dork.
Dorkwing. He is Dorkwing.
Dorkwing.
Don't have the exact name because I'm terrible with those, but it's kind of like the vibe that I'm going for. Ooh, scary sorcerer. Woo.
What was Alex's again?
The Enigma.
The Enigma.
Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just writing all these down. That's all.
How about just Enigma?
I like that.
If anybody has like any name suggestions, I'm all ears. But yeah, I'm not good at this.
Darkwing, work in progress.
Okay.
For now.
Black magic.
Oh, there we go. Turner can be VV
What?
from FF9.
Oh. Another game.
He's a black mage with.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and Crim.
If we're going for the evil route, Crim is going to between what is it? Between like plays, performances. That's the fucking word. Between performances, Crim will communicate with Turner, and then Turner can probably communicate to the opponents off stage before performing certain signals that Krim will give, like certain types of roars. Because if we're going the evil route, Krim is going to be Turner's evil dragon. Like, it's the wizard and the tyrannical wizard and his dragon that protects the tower, sort of deal. And his name will be Scarlet Deathbringer, which he will explain is one of the names he had considered before he saw the patronizing look of some of his neighbors, like maybe something else.
If he went with that, he would turn into a pony.
Who knows where his path would have taken him if he went with that persona.
He lost all his fingers, but he would just have like big.
And as part of the disguise, he will probably find some scale-friendly pigmentation that you can just like put in a small bed and just roll in to cover his scales scarlet.
Like blood. Like
Yes,
blood.
precisely. Crimson Lightwing? No. Scarlet Deathbringer.
You show up for the first time and everyone just like flees. What about the show? Okay.
Oh, does Krim have a roar yet? I think that was somewhere, but I don't think he has it yet.
Okay, next question. How do each of you take to SHL? Are you going through the motions? Do you try to enjoy it? Is there like a message you're trying to send, or are you just trying to get into character and have fun with it?
Very much going through the motions and trying to get it over with. There are attempts to put on, I guess, less of a jaded air in public. Like, Alex tries to hide this, but he is not enjoying it.
Okay.
I think Wade's trying to enjoy it, but he was also just trying to like compartmentalize it, like the sort of thing like you look on it like, oh, that was fun. Anyways, like he almost like becomes like a different person while he's doing it.
The roaring technique I was thinking of is not till level 10, so that's not happening.
It's practice. Because it doesn't have to actually work.
Yeah. But anyway, the reason for telling off stage his signals is specifically for the the tell action.
Yeah.
That. Just so that there's a reason that he doesn't talk but can still do that. Just preload the team with those and have just perform them well. What was that, Snap?
I was gonna explain what Kashmir's deal is. Does anyone else want to go first?
You're talking already, Code.
Okay. I think at first Kashmir would have been kind of in Wade's camp, where it's like, yeah, okay, I'll try and have fun with it. But then as soon as he gets on the stage and he's like, actually recognizes that he's sort of making a difference, and also that he can kind of get into character well enough, he actually really starts to enjoy it. And, like, really gets into character.
Ah. Sounds like my D&D journey.
Well,
I think Turner's taken to it quite well. He surprisingly does kind of enjoy the spotlight a bit, especially since he doesn't really have to talk so much during his, save for, whatever verbal components that he has to give out. He would coordinate with the people putting this all together, just to kind of get like ideas for schedules for other performers, and anytime that he knows that either the champion or Kole's team happens to be competing, he'll make sure that he's like watching somewhere from like a rooftop where, people might like just see someone up there just kind of like just eyeing it intently.
wow.
Oh,
Rough
that's awesome.
storylines.
The announcer is like, wait, look over there, and like the lights pan to you, and then, I thought I saw something. Never mind.
Imagine the first time he's just like, what the fuck? then he just like keeps his beak sealed.
That's cool.
There's a bit of extra irony to this, but I'll mention it later.
I was thinking, like, if we went like public with our time powers, we could have some moral about like using these powers responsibly. But if we're trying to keep it a secret.
I don't know if it's widespread enough for there to be an actual PSA about use your Eldritch time powers responsibly. I don't think it's quite commonplace enough to be like a drink responsibly ad. At least that's my vibe.
I think at least during this, we should absolutely refrain from using our time powers no matter what.
Agreed.
Alright. Unless we're losing.
Unless they're very unseen.
So how's Krim taken to this?
Yeah, so the way Krim is taking to this is that he during the first few performances, like he's following along because like this is the plan. We're gonna do well and stuff like that. But after the first performance, he's like, oh god, I'm all in over my head on this, aren't I? But he managed to get used to it. He's hardy enough, but he definitely does not have like the stage presence to be a full-on character. His charisma is 8, as a reminder, and his wisdom is also 8. So it is a struggle to do well in performing. But that's why probably someone, or eventually he himself, came to the realization of, if I'm not good at doing all this multitasking, I can just act like a dumb animal and act like that. And then I can follow the directions that way, and then I'll look like a really well-trained animal, and then he won't have to focus on all these crazy dialogue comebacks or stuff. He can just fucking go feral, not worry about that, and then he can focus on doing that well, specifically, and it'll play off in that way. Basically, he's playing to his weakness by turning that into a strength.
Krim is like
However, he's still terrified out of his mind.
Krim is like Drago from Rocky 4. Like, you just show up, like, if he dies, he dies. He just, like, punches people.
Oh my god. Yeah, it slowly dawns on Krim what 1,000 people watching actually looks like. And when he sees, like, hints of that, he's gonna be like, is that 1,000? And then, like, that was only 200, Krim. He's like, oh crap!
Yeah, the venues, there's crazy ones, small ones, but they do get more and more. As, naturally, you guys know what you can do. You have fantastical abilities. You are able to climb the ranks. But no one, so Kashmir, you were like, oh, am I going to enjoy this? Then you really take to it, you get to cut, you have fun. But imagine that times 3, and that's Kole. He's definitely appearing unsure and unconfident in this new thing, as most of you are at the beginning. But he's got this natural friendliness. He's so body-oriented. It's like he's born for this. And his appearance is... Sorry?
So in other words, Starcatcher's instinct was correct.
Yeah. That's her secret power. Catching the stars.
Of course.
Basic Golgariax.
Hey.
Yeah. And he has sort of the complete opposite of Enigma's costuming situation. He just looks the exact same every time, conceals nothing. It looks like he's ready to go play a sport, because that's what he is. He's the jock.
Sportsman.
Is that actually what the name he gives himself, the jock?
That's the name they gave him.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, okay.
I missed that.
The jock.
Okay.
Our jock is so cute. Oh my gosh, remember that break? Hello.
So we've got the Dealmaker, Kashmir, Enigma, Alex, Darkwing, Work in Progress, Turner, the Bard, Wade, Scarlet Deathbringer, Krim, and the Jock, Kole.
Scarlet Deathbringer. You can tell like what kinds of novels Krim read when trying to decide on his new identity, and how he's just unable to fill that role.
I'm noticing with the good team, everyone has the at the start of their name. On the bad team, everyone is just the name without a the in the front.
Do we have like press conferences where we have to like shit talk each other?
Oh yes, absolutely. Now, if this was like the whole campaign, we could extend all of this out, and it'd be so fun doing all these checks and stuff. But alas,
But
is not
alas,
We have to
This
get back
is
to core hunter murder.
yeah.
pro wrestling campaign.
Session 18, the press conference. Roll to intimidate.
Skill challenge is just the press conference.
Yeah. Reporter, it's a surprising question. Sleight of hand.
Grim is like Rocky 2 with press conference, where he's very humble and like.
Grim doesn't. He's just gonna be if they're gonna like try to ask Grim something and like to play the character, he'll just try to eat the mic or something like that.
It's like the crazy K9 that we did. Okay. But you do still manage to eke out some downtime from this ruthless, nigh contractually obligated, intense schedule you guys have. And there's the light of the tunnel, that at the end of the tunnel, that in a few short days, there is a firm schedule of the brutal battle finals, and before that, the meaty match. But during your first downtime, we'll say while you're traveling between a gym and your actual civilian rooms, a couple of birds, a bird told them something. Descend to meet you. One moment.
Oh boy.
That's just the price of stardom.
Give me 30 seconds here. Resonance.
Every performance, Wade has this uncharacteristic like collapsement, just like exhaustion. Like he takes his hat, puts him next to himself, like the end of Resident Evil with Jill Valentine. Just like
And you were just filled with references to
Yeah.
people.
Impressive.
like I write with metaphors.
I'll just go with the basic suggestion we have. We're not going too into this, so.
Yeah.
Was that Darkwing, Nightwing?
Darkwing, wasn't it?
What did you write down, Snap?
Yeah.
I wrote-
Darkwing Dork.
I just wrote Darkwing.
Okay.
Work in progress.
Why not?
We'll go with that.
Oh no, careful, Doc. He's gonna mess up your lines.
Everyone gets resolved, by the way. I can't pick and choose. I enjoyed all that.
Perfect.
Cool. None of us made a single
Oh.
check today, so. Well, except for the
Don't
one
worry,
at
it's
beginning.
the thought
That
that
didn't matter.
counts.
Lapping down come these two late-teened, brightly colored birds, who are also corvids, which is why they fit into the brouhaha. Immediately chattering at you is Dynamo with her heavy pack, and she starts immediately like power walking in circles around you on this street corner that's not too busy, not drawing too much of a scene. And then Piper seems more relaxed, contemplative, kind of stepping in every now and then to be like, "Hey, they were talking, Dynamo." They ask you, "What's up? How it's going? Why exactly did you call them? Do you have something for them? Have you done some philosophical considerations after that little debate they had? Like, what's going on?"
I believe this is the point where we would offload some of the things we got in Naverby to them, right?
Yeah.
Some of those materials that they'd probably be very happy to see.
Turner also described every single book that he had collected throughout their investigations, and as well as that material.
Sounds good.
Dynamo, both their eyes go wide and they start, like, in a feral manner, like chirping excitedly, flapping their wings as you pull out this huge hunk of glowing energy, essentially.
Turner just kind of looks at them and says, before I give you these, if this is some long con to try to get me back in there.
Dynamo says, No! This is not what that's about at all. This is about taking it from the man, taking it from these smart people who think they know what they're doing behind closed doors and their monopolies and shady deals, and putting it back in the hands of people like us who can do what they want with magical energy and resonance and all that stuff. It's not about anything personal.
I think upon mentioning that, Krim would also advocate for talking about how it was actually used in Naverbean to basically caution, like, yeah, this was kind of crazy what they did. Does that make sense?
With
Because hard to
machines?
acquire.
No, what the actual machines that had utilized these did, and it's like, yeah, be careful. This is kind of no joke. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him like a cautionary tale.
Yeah, basically.
Dynamo's like, yeah. Piper's like nodding thoughtfully. It is a rare and valuable material that could power a lot of stuff, not just what we do. Like we always say, it's not the weapon or the fuel or whatever, it's what you do with it. And it seems like by giving this to us, you think the same.
Well, you've proven quite accomplished at putting this power through its paces, in more ways than one.
We actually just want it for ourselves.
Okay. Oh, there's some more pleasantries. Dynamo opens the pack that's been freshly topped up on charge, starts muttering about the various forms of energy and levels, and then they spend... well, they'd ask if they could do this in your rooms. They don't want to just do it in the street, obviously.
Yeah, no objections there.
Okay. But it looks like a...
Hampton Inn and do magic.
What looks like a model train set tracks of all these things that will serve as a circuit with the glass tubes for the exusia, and it looks like magic ritual, not ritual. Circles, but made of circuitry and devices rather than components and ink and runes. And after about an hour and a half, they say they are ready, and they ask what they're going to do with it. I mean, go a little OC if you want here. But yeah, they got a lot of juice, and they're ready to refine the processes on whatever you guys had in mind.
Well, I think so
That's
far,
insane.
since Nemo the only one who has like a very specific resonance idea that has like a cost and everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of this is going to be off stream during the break, which is a convenient break time, all things considered. Yeah, for Krim, he would bring up some notes and explain what he has, what can be done. He, back and forth discussing things, but the end result would basically be what I had going on for the Thirsty Axe enhancements. I already have the necessary resonance for the whole shebang, but not much more. So I'll probably be saving up again after that for whatever else comes up. I'll probably want to find a new magic item to see what can be enhanced from there. That'll take up one of my attunement slots.
You're pulling the trigger on both of these, huh?
Yeah, at this point, Krim's... well, two things. One, I have no fucking idea when the next resonance opportunity is going to be, so I may as well get what I can when I can. And the second is, Krim is very firmly in the party tank role. I am perfectly fine with that, so I'm going to enhance that. Make his regen reliable, and increase his HP once his next level up shows in. There's basically no downside as far as I'm concerned, long-term or short-term, in doing this, because this weapon's pretty good. This is a good weapon for a tank.
So a lot of this is OOC. This is, at the end of the day, a meta currency, this resonance. But basically, if you would join the Discord and you saw this with enough resonance channel, you would see that he plans to use the IDOS process of heightening, which is enhance and even slightly tune, if you wish, the magic effect of a magic item to make my Thirsty Hatchet heal more often and provide constitution, basically, right?
Correct.
You would have to disgorge this magic from your Demi-Dragon being back into an item for them to work with it.
Yes, for since Krim knew that they would be coming, he would have done that during one of the long rests. People don't really notice the thing, since it's a very invisible effect. So it didn't affect his performances at all.
Then, after a fantastical light show, humming energy, moving charges, and a couple of minutes each, with featuring a levitating hatchet and... Oh, I didn't describe this yet. Right, so resonance.
Yeah, we never saw this in use before. What's it look like now?
Let me make sure I get this right. So... Right, there's not disenchantment, it's just heightening. So, as the hatchet is floating there aloft, held up by all these powers at play, from you, Krim, as this process is going on, like from your core, maybe the base of your throat, where it meets your chest, where like your dragon fire light beam originates, this stream of different material. It doesn't look like exusia, this like pearlescent blue cloudy substance that does react physically. You could like wave your claws through it, but it disperses and then reforms, goes into the device, and isn't seen again. Something has been taken from you. But then the process completes, and the new hatchet works exactly as you'd planned due to their parameters and tweaking.
Very
Quite impressive.
Krim is fascinated by this. Like, takes notes. He asks what that stuff was that came from his magic core, as he calls it. He's like, what the hell is this? He's so fascinated. He's babbling just like Dynamo at this point.
They would say that this confirms you are a resonator, and that resonance, this thing that is even less understood than exusia, that went invisible and unknowable for centuries. If we think it's tied to people's souls, it doesn't seem to be able to be stored or interacted with, except through these processes. But it's something that you have a finite amount of, and that you generate under certain circumstances as a resonator, and that can be used to again enhance this stuff or do other processes with it.
Sometimes talking builds it up, sometimes fighting builds it up, sometimes just traveling.
Well,
Gosh,
How much-
resonance? You can make anything possible.
yeah, what? God damn it.
Then
What,
on.
how much resonance do we have at this point? I have it. How many sessions do we have?
32
132.
currently.
And each one, save for a few, we had a few shorter sessions.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to retally. I'll write that down.
But wow, all the stuff that Krim had was actually only half of the resonance we had built up. I'll get back to you on that later.
I might think of some stuff too, like in post, but that's alright.
Somewhere,
Yeah,
Don't worry.
absolutely.
somewhere between 62 and 93. Closer to 93.
And for the second heightening you did, that really made this into a substantial item, Krim.
Yeah.
There were a couple like glass breaking, exusia leaks, some like emergency stuff that needed to be done, and they would abashedly say they definitely need to work on it more when they're trying to put that much juice into something like this.
Yeah. Essentially, it seems like their cap right now is middling rare.
Yep.
And as they further enhance it with more upgrade materials that we give them, that rank can go higher.
Perhaps.
5
Chance.
gems that speed up the process.
Come on, this is like the classicest of classic RPG building. It makes perfect sense. Take the W.
Tinker allies. Oh, bring us this side quest. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, and we can craft common pant.
What?
Just like the starter item, just like common pants or.
Oh, I see.
Common pant.
Okay, maybe a couple other resonance things occur here too.
I'm not specific
And
now, so mine will probably have to wait till next session or another time.
Cool, yeah, and Piper's jotting stuff down in a book. We have to make improvements here and here. It's wonderful to actually see that the theory is holding true for the most part, and that we do have the power to do what people are doing with a lot more money, resources, and people. It's all about sweat and drive, you know?
Yeah, Krim's just happily helping them with any of their notes. They can probably, even though his body is very different, they can kind of like see the earnestness in him, and he probably can't like. They have a sense that he's probably incapable of hiding ulterior motives as he helps out with this. It's like, this is so freaking cool, so on and so forth.
It's cool.
I'm just gonna hold out until I have an item that can either A, make me fly, or B, make me shoot a gun.
Make you shoot a gun. Oh, Bugle.
Okay.
Some things change and some things don't.
Mhm.
Last campaign, Bugle basically played Iron Man, so.
Iron
I
Man
thought it was more.
with familiars.
It was more Jango Fett to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Let's change the music.
Let me take a small break. Just a tiny one.
Small break? Okay.
Small break.
Small break.
Okay, oh god, which break screen do I use? It's been a while. You know what? I'll go back to one of the old ones. Ferric, it's you! See you guys soon.
Okay, hello. Welcome back from brief break. Cool. So that occurred. You get a blissful night of good, solid, full, maximum, super duper, mega rest.
And Knuckles. Oh.
And it's back to the grindstone. But another funny thing occurs on your way.
Attack my equipmenters.
Yeah. Passing by some stalls on a market kind of neighborhood street. You know, these are pretty static. Maybe you're beginning to recognize some of them, but there's some different ones, different faces every day. Probably aren't paying too much mind. You see art supplies, painting, pencil, a smaller section for wood carving in one of these stands, and there's a big sign that says, "Get started with sketching." And what catches your eye is a special stand with some new sketchbooks. They look new, but they're labeled antique sketchbooks. And Wade, they look exactly like the one you carry.
Antique?
Yeah. Wait to just like play the casual browsing shopper and just like as if he was like at a bookstore, just like pick it up and just start flipping through it.
You reach to start flipping through it, and the shopkeeper, who is an old ferret, like his face fur is all white now instead of white with like that brown mask, he like slaps your paw away. Hey, no, these are antique. I'm gonna make a lot of money off these. You can't just flip through them like they're a common sketchbook.
Pardon me, sir. What makes them so antique-y?
Well, they're from before the scatter. That's antique enough for you. A few decades.
Curious. How are we able to verify this?
I'll tell you if you're actually interested in buying them, but if you're just looking to... I think I recognize you. Aren't you? He scrutinizes you. Kind of look like one of those SHL. Never mind. You're an artist.
I wish. I knew a few. I knew some really good ones. Oh, the passing fancy. But none from before the scatter.
I'm sure there were many talented artists back then. Everyone was talented back then. The stories are true.
I wish. But, did you have like an archaeological dig, an expedition? Is that where you found these?
Strong paw restorations. Some contractors hired by the keepers to clear out more functional space from northeastern Karifi. they found an art store much fancier than my little stand. And inside those, a lot of nice things that they sold off to buyers like me, including these truly antique sketchbooks.
I see. How much would one be?
38 gold each. 37 gold if you feel inspired as a present-day artist, but you're not an artist, so 38. He smiles.
I have a habit of giving away too much in my hand. Yeah. But normally I'd negotiate, sir, but you seem like the reputable sort, so I shall get one of them. And he tries to pick up one that looks very similar to one that he has.
How many are there that are similar?
You see 6 on the shelf, and they're all like identical, like they're mass-produced. You're not pulling my leg, really? Right? All right. He brings you over to where the transaction could occur, and is a little bit surprised when you actually take out 38 gold pieces.
There's more valuable things for some people than coin. Also, the spell scrolls damn near took a third of my money, but hey, I hope it'll be worth it.
So give you a different sort of magic. Well, thank you. What's your name?
Nothing to be concerned about.
All right.
Ooh.
You bought some anonymity for this? That's fine. Well, feel free to grab some new ink pens. Got anything you might need if you're actually going to use that thing.
Nostalgia, and now with it in his hand, he'll start flipping through it.
Okay. Well, it's blank, but you find that it's got about twice as many pages as the sketchbook you already possess has. The cover and the make and the texture of the paper, it all feels the same.
Where did his brother get that?
Yeah, perhaps you. What have you not told me before? Perhaps you're an archaeologist. Hit the bill.
Hey, Tal, I have a question. For SHL purposes, how much do they instill kayfabe in us? Meaning, like, when we're not performing, are we still supposed to try to stay true to our characters? Like, we don't hang out with people who are our adversaries or whatever.
Well, we are in disguises usually, right?
So that's absolutely part of it. If you are a performer who is not really disguised, like you could clearly tell who they are. But if you are actually disguised, fully trying to be like, oh, I can't really see that person's face at all, or maybe even their species fully in some cases, such as Enigma, then you can do what you like.
Okay.
That must be particularly fascinating in a world like this. Like, you can't even tell someone's species. I think that in itself is a hell of a gimmick for Alex.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was just trying to decide, not for the scene in particular, but just in general, is Turner likely going to be out in public with them and stuff?
Got a few minutes before you gotta make it to this gig. Wade, you good to go?
Yeah. I might make a habit of journaling. Call it my memoirs after all of this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's more stuff that'll happen, but during the sparse downtime you guys have, anything else you wanted to hit? No problem if not.
Krim would just do the usual checks of the concerts. They've been going to so many concerts, though, that Krim's pretty confident that he's not going to find anything, but also just during the very brief downtime, just any sign of those dragon flyers, and if something weird's happening with that, he doubts he'll find anything, but that's all that's on his mind when he's not trying to practice his SHL performing roars.
The flyers are still around, but about half as much quantity. People are taking them, it seems, and they're not changed or updated.
Oh,
course.
I guess small thing. If we were to open up Ford's sketchbook, does it look like any of the pages were like torn out, whether cleanly or just like roughly?
Do you have any sort of tool proficiency, or does anyone who might aid you with this? Otherwise, it'll be a investigation check.
I'm not very the best at that.
What type of a check? What
Is there-
type of a tool would it be?
Anyone that's relevant?
Would calligrapher's supplies maybe be relevant?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's like a rare direct application of something that's not just writing.
Wait after explaining, you could ask for some assistance. You seem to have a sharper eye than I, so you'll just be careful with it.
Okay. Checking what ability these usually use. Although I'm guessing it would be either intelligence or wisdom. I'm guessing it's still an investigation check. I just get to add my proficiency from calligrapher's
say it.
supplies.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Intelligence-based calligrapher's check.
Yeah.
I'll do anything with that after
Yeah.
I let this resolve, of course.
I'll go ahead and use guidance as usual. That's trash. 9.
Here at the end of session, you can probably resolve it.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll go ahead and do that.
You did get the result.
That turned into a 19
Oh crap! For a total of.
for a total of 19.
Oh, okay.
19. It's not particularly difficult to see the. I imagine this sketchbook as like a spiral wire bound one that's holding the pages.
Yeah, sure.
You can tell that the telltale like warping and the places where there were usually more paper and the way the cover lies, it should have been having more padding. So yes, you are certain that there were a bunch of papers torn out, not particularly cleanly from the sketchbook, the old one that he has. Not the old one, the one he already had.
Yeah, if you look here and here, there's
see.
actually quite a few missing pages.
Let me rack my mind. Was that part of his creative process? Whenever I saw him, wait to try to remember back in the day. Like if you can tell if you can disclose if Ford would have done this in front of him or not.
This would be low DC, but give me just an intelligence check.
I mean, memory echo.
Doesn't the memory echo have to be something you experienced while you had the memory echo?
I don't know.
Are
No,
we sure?
You
I
kind
mean,
of
I don't think
let
so.
yeah, you let it work with Krim for recalling
yeah.
stuff way back when.
The only limitation is that you have to spend a substantial amount of time with other people to share the memories reliably, which
When
cuts off a lot of.
intentionally- I messed out of that. When intentionally reflecting on an experience within the last year,
Ooh.
memory is strengthened. Oh, but that was with
No, that was-
you, Krim.
Yeah, that works for Krim, but
Oh,
only the last
yeah.
year.
That's okay. That's fair.
Oh, you got a good roll,
Technically,
so.
Okay, so definitely Ford had this sketchbook and was using it more than a year ago, but without the aid of the Echo, 16.
You said
You
low
can't
DC.
recall him ever ripping pages out. No, he was a calm artist and he didn't get frustrated easily.
so even if he would have, it wouldn't have been as substantial as the number of missing pages that Alex is suggesting.
At least not that Wade ever saw him do.
So maybe it happened before we actually found the book, or before I'd gotten it.
We'll be able to say that, Wade is like showing this to them in like the gym area or some common area where they can be seen together and not have to worry about all that stuff.
Yeah, if Wade, yeah.
Okay. Big ol'.
Yeah.
Okay. Would Turner be able to do like some type of like history check on these things to like try to like gauge its age, its authenticity? And he would also like to look at the condition of it to see if it's like something that could or need to be mended. If it's like in a fragile condition,
Mm.
And I want to have Kashmir add something after that.
Okay, and you're talking about the old sketchbook that Wade already had,
The
Turner.
one that he just bought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, unless you can. Is anyone like a jeweler or have any of those
I
like
got jeweler's
scrutiny
tools.
Crim counts.
I got jeweler's tools.
with your powers combined? Yeah, then you can only make the check if you have those kind of like chronologically dated and figure out its condition. But yeah, you could roll
He has jeweler's tools.
investigation.
But would it
I don't know
use
if
the
Crim can
jeweler's
offer a
tools
help on
instead?
this if he let.
Sorry, Emma.
What? Well,
I was letting Emma say first.
I don't know if Crim can help if he lacks the jeweler's proficiency. He only has investigation proficiency.
So for clarification, Tal, is this like a jeweler's tools check or investigation check?
no, investigation.
Oh, so why are the jeweler's tools needed? That's like a separate thing.
I think because it's like you don't need spyglass proficiency to use a spyglass to see things that you wouldn't be able to otherwise, is the logic I'm going with.
Okay. Alright, then if it's investigation, then should he be able to help me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, take the help.
Will do. Oh god, I probably need that because I got a 4 as the lower one and a 16 as the higher one.
There we go.
And since it's investigation, it just becomes a 20 since I don't have proficiency.
This is on the one you just acquired, right?
Yeah.
20, huh?
Yeah.
You would think this is about 200 years old. It's in pretty good condition, like it's been preserved intentionally or unintentionally. So you would, from what Wade told you of that guy's thing about the restoration and unearthing it from some collapsed art store, I mean, that would be a valid explanation.
Okay.
How long ago
Yeah.
was the scatter?
171 years.
Then
Oh,
turn
that's
around.
not. Yeah,
You'd
right.
give him the reassurance that he at least, maybe didn't waste, 30 something gold for a notebook. Depending on his own, depending on how much how much he would personally value an antique like that. At least it's the real deal.
That's priceless to me. I spent 1,000 on scrolls, God forbid.
Is the one Wade already had that old as well?
Would my investigation roll carry over, or would I have to do a new one?
It's a lot harder to tell because the one he already had has been
Just a
heavily
lot. That makes sense.
Anyway, I thank you all for your interest in this old knickknack. Here's the hat.
It's pretty
And so-
interesting.
The pages were either taken out before Forded found it, or after he died.
Wade, and then Kashmir pulls a pencil out of his back pocket that he just happened to have. Have you tried doing the pencil trick with your brother's journal?
As in, to unearth secret messages, like L.A. Noir,
Yeah, like that.
he always seemed earnest enough to not have much to hide. But I suppose I don't want to mess with it too much nowadays. His spirit is a bit farther away the more we travel.
I mean, I get that, but wouldn't hurt, I think.
I
Thank you.
suppose.
I think Cash would have a delicate touch.
Oh, insist.
I heard there was a special kind of light that would help you see things and hidden messages, but I don't know how to make that kind of light. I get a resonance where Crim can become a black
Blue
light.
light. Okay.
roll sleight of hand to try and uncover hidden messages.
Hell yes, I can do that with my rolls. Yes.
That are super good and never bad.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yay, 25.
Roll really high this session.
My goodness. You do not find any hidden messages.
Oh. Hmm.
And you're pretty sure.
Okay.
You never touched
Kashmir
me.
gives it a real good sniff. Then he listens to the notebook for the extra senses, and he finds nothing.
Yeah, he just hands it back to Wade, like, nothing.
Worth a try? Well,
Sounds like you were right about your brother.
I know that we're always trying to look for a meaning in every little thing, but it's possible he just acquired it and had a few pages torn out. It's not unusual for notes to have to be discarded.
yes, I just hoped it wasn't torn out before his body was repatriated, but that's most likely occurrence in my opinion. Yes. Alright.
You'd estimate it was about 100 pages that were torn out of this 180-page book.
That is
from your
substantial.
From your check earlier, Alex, you could tell that it was the beginning, not the end, that was torn out. I should have said that.
Okay, so it wasn't like a random assortment of pages throughout it. It was a big cluster of pages right at the start was removed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
More mysteries. Well, we'll have time for that later. Right now, we got a show to put on.
Ding ding! The Jocks team! And the rest of you, Dark Wing! And starts rattling off your names. It's like this trainer geezer guy. Looks like a retired acrobat. Calls you in. Gotta work on taking those kicks that the hair does. You're better than that. Come on.
Yeah.
Once more onto the breach.
And after some sweat and so many tears, you gain plus 0.25 to your performance checks.
Well,
But of course,
unfortunately, we
down.
round down.
Nice.
Damn it, I will.
Well, when he gives a long sigh as they're heading out, takes his cigar, just stomps it under his feet and just walking.
The camera lingers as the footsteps walk away, the smoke, and then it
Oh
ends.
my god.
Okay. That night. And that's all the time we have. No, just kidding.
Well,
It's hard to say who falls asleep first in these few days because these days are quite tiring. It's not just a battle and then some walking. It's fairly non-stop exertion. And it's cognitive exertion too. But those of you who are still drifting off would begin to hear some familiar sleep talking from your draconic friend.
oh god damn it. Here we go again.
Oh boy.
What's
At least he
Krim
doesn't
dreaming of?
snore.
Yeah.
You need to give us permission to view your dream.
Yeah, Krim would have been having some somewhat stress-induced dreams from all the activity, blending all of his thoughts together, where he'd be looking through an ancient dusty library for a book that he doesn't remember the title of, and then eventually there's fire all over the place, and then Kashmir pops up saying, "Now I'm the devil now," as he's "No, I'm not ready yet," as he
Yeah.
feels his bones throbbing with hellfire.
Even in his friend's dreams, Kashmir cannot live that down.
And then from the dark library floor, a form emerges underneath Kashmir. Kashmir is actually riding this dragon that you've seen before. Could you again describe its appearance, if you don't mind, Emma?
This dragon, it kind of varies in how Krim remembers it, but the most recent one was this silver, almost white dragon that resembles almost how he was, but it doesn't have the same prismatic color to it when you shine on the light. It's just this is a white dragon, more or less. Krim never got any sense of what element it has or anything like that, only that it is definitely capable of flying. Had once offered that to him during his dying day, and he remembers very little about the details of that beyond it.
As she fully comes into view, it's like you're turning up the brightness setting and her scales overtake the darkness of the library. She arches her neck now. Cashmere, if he's even still there, is obscured. And you see her again, and with a voice like the mother of the whole world, she says, "My tender hatchling, Crimson Lightwing, little news reaches me where I am. What great exploits and good deeds have you accomplished lately?"
It's you again. Right. Well, we're heading northwest. We ran into some trouble on the way. We were trying to research things about that. You know, with those crazy time powers that have been going on. Bit of a setback, but we're still planning to visit. Actually, we saw some flyers around about something to do with these. Well, what happened to me, but you know, I kind of thought it was just me, but I think it's all starting to point to where it's supposed to go, these flyers. So that helps. Krim is he's trying to keep it together and not give away the suspicions and stuff. He's trying to act natural to not raise suspicion while saying things that are plausibly truthful for why they had a holdup, and all things considered, very believable, he thinks.
Your assessment is astute. Those flyers I am responsible for. These time anomalies, they are wondrous, but there exist other wonders that this world will soon see.
Yeah, I've actually been able to think back about what happened, or try to. Still a bit of a block. What was it that I was able to do? Do you know? I don't remember, talking to anyone with flyers and things like that. It was all research that I'd found or had been provided from, the town. Where does it come from?
What do the flyers have to do with the research in Krim's backstory?
It doesn't have anything to do with his backstory. Krim is just making connections of someone knows about this that's not me.
Oh.
Did the research somehow get to him through whoever made these flyers and stuff like that may know the nature of this ritual? It's 3 degrees removed, but a bunch of...
I will be more clear. I made those flyers that we might share with others the delightful new life who suffer as you did, that you now have. And I will say again, I will tell you what is missing from your memory and how you accomplished this transformation.
Since the last time we talked, did you look into why that might have been the case? What was missing? Why it would be missing? It seemed like an important part.
No dream lasts forever. Time is limited. I will explain, but in person, I have those answers.
Oh, okay.
Sounds
good.
Many have seen the flyers and are already under my care. You are a brilliant beacon of hope, perseverance, intelligence. Will you come soon to shine for them?
How much? It's they're a couple days, and then it's just we can probably beeline to there, right? For the SHL event.
Yes.
Once we resupply, we'll be probably heading there as fast as we can. In terms of walking, we were about halfway there, but considering all the setbacks, the second half will be a lot faster.
Well, do not fuss, my tender hatchling. Be light of heart, and your mind will always be clear, I know. There is time to find yourself where you are needed.
During this, while trying to keep it cool and his wonder is still genuine despite all the suspicions, he will try to get a vibe of this person whatsoever. Is this person really as good as she seems to be, or was that some evasiveness for ulterior motives or for his own good? Because now that he knows, hey, it's hellish power, is she withholding that because maybe there's some good things she doesn't have time to tell, or is she a fucking devil? He's trying to get that.
You could roll for a vibe check with disadvantage because this is a
weird
dream of imagery that is not true.
If you somehow get to nat 20s.
What is the vibe here? Insight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to roll for a vibe
Since
check.
this is end of stream, I'm probably also going to resolve this. I'm definitely going to resolve this. So if I'm resolving a disadvantage, I roll the lower die and then take the lower, right? Between...
Yeah.
Okay. So I rolled a 4 and a 16. I am now resolving the 4. 15.
15 total? Wow.
Yeah, I rolled a 19, which means my 16 is what I use, and I have a -1, so 15.
Okay.
Is that necessarily how that would work? Cool.
Yeah, because if I roll at disadvantage, 4 and 16, resolve it, I turn the 4 into a 19, so then I take the 16, which is the new lower for the disadvantage.
So her interest in you is as brilliant as she keeps complimenting you to be. Either this person thinks you are incredible, or there's some social manipulation being attempted here, and certainly aided by these wonderful appearances. But you wouldn't be able to discern any specific ulterior motives or what's the game here. But yeah, she wants you to come for sure. There's some motivation there. Does that answer the question?
As good as Crim's probably going to be able to get. If he's not able to discern any. Oh, the other one was can he get any sense on the evasiveness when he asked of the nature of his ritual? Was it a vibe of for his own good, a vibe of actually it's kind of bad, or was he not able to discern that with a 15?
It's a carrot that's being dangled in front of you, definitely. And it seems like it's almost like that was the purpose. Like, oh, I know you don't have a memory. I know you have a memory gap. I will tell you the memory gap. Like, it's all been engineered. Is the vibe you would get.
A vibe that she might have known that I lacked the memory is taking advantage. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
I feel like we should be listening to this song in minor key.
Oh yeah, just pitch shifted or something.
Okay, yeah, as the dream is fading, Crim will have one last question that'll probably be very easy as he realizes something. Wait, did others change like me? Because she mentioned under her care.
They await a beacon, a source of truth, a promise. And you are that promise.
Crim nods with wonder in his eyes, but it's actually a deception because he just put a few things together in his head. Am I rolling for deception to hide a darker tinge to his gaze as he nods in wonder?
Sure. With the understanding that even as you deceive, this figure is just, stunning and is promising you answers that you really want.
Yeah. So, no, his wonder is truthful, but he also has a realization, and miraculously, he manages to hide it. That's a nat 20.
Okay. Well, she grins broadly, showing you teeth that aren't as sharp as you might expect, and will begin to slowly fade.
He jolts awake and looks at the others. Oh, I did it again, I think, didn't I? Sorry about that. Don't worry. I didn't give away anything, I think, except for the obvious that we're still on our way. And the time stuff.
Do you turn big? Oh, you mean your patron.
I haven't accidentally turned big in a while. And anyway.
No comment.
Oh.
What has your dream patron been saying?
Well, I think I might have realized something. But the main thing is that people have been answering the flyers and coming on over for needing help about probably becoming more of me. But the weird part about that is they're all waiting for me as a light of truth, which I think means proof that it's possible at all. I think I'm starting to put a few things together here.
Ah, shit. Do you know how many?
No, the dream was a little fast.
Well,
But I know I can believe people pretty easily, but after that whole scare that happened at your place, Turner, I was a little more cautious than usual, and I kind of noticed that she's been holding this gap of memory I have over my head as a temptation to go over. And I do want to go over, if only to investigate, but had I not known, had I not been with you guys, I can only imagine what that would mean. I don't... Just watch my back when we get there. Something about this is strange.
you said
It's
you
like they don't know what's missing, or they need me for what they're missing. Because there are only two scenarios, right? Either they know or they don't know. If they do know, why would they withhold that but to use me for something else? Unless it is just proof. She could still be good. Every time I have that dream, she seems nice, but it's a dream, so you know how those can be manipulated, I think. Well, I mean, it's a vision, who knows?
Does she seem, for lack of better words, infernal to you?
No, not even slightly. If anything, she seems divine. It's always bright when she appears. I was, for like 5 seconds, he glances at Kashmir, and then he looks down again. I was just having a dream about things, and it was pretty dark, and then she showed up, and it got bright and warm and cozy. She called me your hatchling and all that.
My experience is always the devils that come to you in fine, spiffy suits.
That is strangely possessive.
Kashmir raises an eyebrow, but then says, well, as a deal breaker, I don't know. I feel like if someone wanted you to not think they were a devil or hellish, they would present as the opposite. It's just a thought.
I understand that, but devils are usually more forthright about it. It's part of the whole, deal thing. You can't take a soul if it's through cheating. You have to actually sign a contract. Speaking of which, didn't ask me for any deals. So that's nice. It's gonna be complicated.
You're also in a dream, and dreams work by different rules. Probably.
Dealing with devils, not the Fae.
I mean, it's just a little different.
You give me an investigation check, Nomo?
Investigation? Flat 16. Because I rolled a 10.
You check yourself. She didn't offer you any deals. But didn't she?
To fill in the memory.
I'll tell you the memory
yeah.
you lost if...
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't that kind of deal.
Yeah, Krim thinks about that and he says, oh, but... I mean, it's not a traditional deal, but it is a give and take. It doesn't involve my soul, at least, but it's just, if I go there, then I will be told the memory. I don't think devils take your soul unless that's actually in the contract. So that's good at least. But I guess that's a deal, but that's a proposition that anyone would make. I think.
Not necessarily your soul I'm worried about.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is right.
To wonder if this is something we should go to at all. It's really starting to feel like a trap.
Oh, I mean, it's probably a trap, but think of all the people that are falling for it. I can't abide that.
But I think you going there might put them in more danger. It's starting to sound like they need you there for their plans.
Well,
If you don't go...
Well, I don't know how to say this without being callous. If we don't go, the types of people that are being drawn in by this don't have much time left anyway.
Yeah.
So are we putting
I don't want
them in any more danger just by showing up and investigating?
I don't want them. Yes, I don't want them to have false hope. If I saw that flyer and I went there, I'd at least like to know before the end. Maybe then I could find other venues with the time I have left, you know? But I think you're right, Alex. And if that's the case, if we go there, maybe you should take the lead. All of you. And be a bit more careful and take the rear position while we try to investigate what's going on.
She don't want you one way or another. She doesn't even know us.
You could pose as sickly people.
I think she would see through that. If she has the power to see into your dreams, she could see through that.
Sick in one way or another.
See into my dreams, sure, but she didn't know where I was.
I just mean, if we're going to try to pull a facade, it's easier said than done. We are not all the greatest of liars here.
No, that's true.
Are we?
But
I mean, she's looking for Crimson Lightwing, not Scarlet Deathbringer.
I'd be surprised if that works.
Hey,
but
maybe it would. Who knows?
Maybe. I've been getting pretty good at performances.
But you still have charisma as a dump stat.
I'm gonna try to do some research on this after SHL is over.
I suppose, just to clear the air, do you want more of you, Krim?
Well, assuming it's not a hellish devil deal, yes! There's no cults, and it's just a new venue of research for people who would like it. I don't think I'm that dangerous.
Venue research. Once this cat gets out of the bag, ha 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 ha. The card. But
Keep that up and you're going to be eating crow.
Well, wait, once I get the gap in my memory filled in, then I'll know for sure if it's a terrible thing or not. If it's actually some terrible thing that had to be done, no, I wouldn't want more of me. It ends with me if that's the case. But what if it isn't? What if good, sick people can be saved with this? Plus, Megadragon's pretty cool.
What if by the time you found out, it's too late to affect things further?
Well, whatever they're doing, they're already well along, aren't they? If it's not me, they'll find someone else.
theoretically, if this was some angelic miracle, it would save a lot of people. But I think there's also going to be a lot of evil people who are going to live forever because of it.
Oh, don't worry, it's only 400 years or so.
Not if they do it again, and again, and again.
Crimp thinks about that genuinely.
Hmm.
Not relevant.
I mean, you would think, yeah. could such a ritual be repeated? You saw the toll that it took on your bones, the permanency with which that it's been weaved into your new form. And with the knowledge you have that you can remember, it probably wouldn't work the exact same way.
Something tells me that it might be a little difficult to retransform into a dragon again. But, I meant... You have a point. And the fact that it's a hellish magic is a little worrying for how it may have used to be used. But the good and the bad, we have to figure out how to mitigate the bad, and what better way than to find out what people are already trying with it, right? Besides, we have a pretty good track record of stopping things.
Indeed. Place one last bet. 5 gold says when we speak them in person, they're going to look nothing like you saw in your dream.
I'm not taking you up on that because you're definitely right.
Yeah, how about, oh, Mother said not to gamble. Never mind.
I'll raise you 10. They initially looked like that.
Huh?
And the tiredness of the day overtakes you, and you're all able to get some real sleep without spooky foreshadowing dreams.
Foreshadowing.
Tomorrow is the meaty match. Find out next time on Beast in the Timetwist.
Next
meaty
time,
mess
we're
with a bunch of
getting
deep
meaty.
Yeah.
Wow. Awful.
Thanks for coming. That was fun.
Sorry,
Careful
it was a
combat.
little short. Like I said, we'll figure out through the course of the next week if we are going to be able to get another session next week. But worst case scenario, we have to skip a week. July, summer vacation month.
It happens.
It's true.
All right, take care.
Bye bye.
Peace out.